So you thought I was going to be dirty, didn't you? No, no, the joys of an 11-inch tom-tom. So I would guess that most drummers, certainly if you're sort of under a certain age, probably never realised you could get an 11-inch tom. I'd probably even guess you probably don't realise you can get 11-inch heads, but you can. I'm only aware of 2 companies that have ever made 11-inch toms. One a long time ago, and one of them actually certainly more recent. And those 2 companies are Tama and Craviotto. Did you know that Craviotto made 11-inch toms? Well, it's something that they did offer. I'm not quite sure if they still do, but they certainly did for a while anyway. 11. It's an odd size. It's a very odd size, actually, isn't it? Obviously, you don't get 7-inch drums. You don't get 19 or 17-inch drums. Now, most people, possibly, I'm going to guess anyway, I'm going to generalise, but I'm going to guess that most people haven't either seen or played an 11-inch tom. Ergo, most people don't have an 11-inch tom. Strangely, I have 2 11-inch toms. I have one on the Grand Star and I have one on the Art Star too. You know, I've got. I mean, this is why I kind of like those two kits, because the Grand Star runs. I think it's 11, 12, 14, 16, and the Art Star runs 10, 11, 13, 14, 16. I don't know why there wasn't a 12. I got a 12. I bought a 12 for the Art Star kit. I've got to get it rewrapped at some point, but having an 11-inch tom, I thought this would be an interesting sort of short topic to talk about, because like I said, most people don't even know you can get 11-inch toms, tom heads. The thing I really wanted to talk about, because most people haven't actually ever played an 11-inch tom, is kind of how it does genuinely feel different, and it genuinely does feel like an intermediate size of its own merit. Now, I'm a big fan of smaller drums. I've got loads of kits with 8, 10 and whatever. But I think for the most part, I generally play one up, one down. And most of the time, whilst I do like to occasionally put a 10-inch tom up as the mounted tom, for the most part, I'll probably generally go for a 12. But on the odd occasion, I've actually gone for an 11. So I've done 11 and 16, or maybe 11, 14, 16, just for the hell of it. And it really does feel different. It's kind of got that sort of tighter, more compact sound that a 10 has, but it's got more body to it, but not as much body as a 12. And it is kind of an interesting sort of situation. It's just, you know, you've got that extra inch. It's like the Spinal Tap thing. It goes up to 11. There is something strange about just playing an 11. It just does feel slightly bigger than a 10, but it retains that sort of like same sort of vibe and feel as the 10, but without having the sort of possibly sometimes sort of deeper feel and sort of maybe, I think, depending on how you tune them, slightly sort of more soggy feeling of a 12. It's right. It is right in the middle, and you know, I haven't played either of the Grand Star or the Art Star kits recently, because I've kind of been in another sort of headspace. But the last time I gigged the Art Star, I used 10, 11, 16, I think, and that was an interesting experience too, because it was kind of following on from the 10, but it wasn't that bigger sort of well, it wasn't that bigger and deeper size that the 12 was, and it was an interesting combination, because it wasn't tuned as low as I would tune a 12, so it was kind of keeping the upper range there, so I could afford to have the 10 a little bit higher and the 11 a little bit lower, but as I said, not as low as I would go with the 12. And with the Grand Star, because that's the first tom, I've kind of got it again in that sort of middle position, where it's not quite as high as I would have put the 10, but it's higher than where the 12 is. It is a bit of a weird thing. It's kind of a fun thing though, and I like I like setting up kits, and I like having kits that do that sort of thing, that are just a little bit weird and a little bit quirky, and I don't think it necessarily makes me sort of feel differently in the way of approaching things, in the sense that if I set up an 8 and a 10 as the 2 rack toms, I would probably play a little bit differently. It doesn't really sort of change my headspace in that sense, but ultimately though, it is just kind of a fun thing, and it's nice to have. I always knew that Tama did an 11-inch tom, but I didn't ever think I would come across one. Certainly I never thought I would own 2 of them. Anyway, thank you for watching, and as I said, if you do want maybe a sound file that compares the two, I mean, if you want to go and hear what those 2 11-inch toms sound like, they are both featured in the Grand Star video that I probably did 3 or 4 years ago, and the Art Star video, which I think I possibly did around the beginning of 2020. So they are in those videos. But if you would be interested in me doing a comparison video between a 10 and an 11 and an 11 and a 12, I will try and do that at some point if there is enough interest. So if there is interest, let me know in the comments, see what I can do in the future. Thanks for watching. See you later.